So soul-centered living professional?
Mentor. Yeah.
Okay. We're recording, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just saying it's
Okay.
written right
Okay.
there.
Got it. Collective breath. I'd like to present to you Dawn Sinclair, soul-centered living mentor, who is going to do our human design reading. There's stuff online, but I'm curious as to how do you define human design?
Yeah. I like that you asked it that way, because there is a lot of information out there. So anybody can Google it and anybody can go read about it and find out the technical pieces of what human design actually is, like the system itself, and that it's a synthesis of ancient and modern wisdoms and all of that information that's out there. But really, at its core, it's an energetic blueprint that can assist us in understanding how we are uniquely designed to show up to life. Basically, I think of it like an owner's manual for your car, but each one of us has our own owner's manual that tells us how we are uniquely designed and how we've come to show up, how to take care of that, and all the whys. So what it does is, I tell people before I do a session with them, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know at your core. What human design does do is it gives you permission to accept those pieces of yourself that maybe you hadn't explored in a while, or release the conditioning around how you thought you were supposed to be, because we have these stories, of course, of like, that's not acceptable. I need to do this in order to be a nice person. You know, these stories that we carry around, or, you know, I'm different because, and instead of it being the idea of everybody being different in a negative way, it is a science of differentiation. So what it does is it shows us how we are each beautifully, uniquely designed. And when I have a session with somebody, or somebody learns on their own how they are as an energetic being, and they grant themselves the true permission to be that which they are, they can't not grant that to somebody else. So there's this level of acceptance and respect that comes once we understand ourselves as energetic beings. So that's what I love about the human design system. And this is not something that I was always into. This, you know, I kind of fell ass backwards into this, to be honest. And, you know, years ago when I was doing something completely different with my life, I would have even said to you, I wasn't into astrology, like none of the systems that I am completely enveloped in now was I then. And it's because I went through my own self-realization journey and discovery, and then found this system that was mind-blowing. And I began to just dabble in it and play with it.
You were an illustrator and a graphic designer in the past, and an interior designer, right?
I was actually a teacher first.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was a teacher for 10 years. And in 2011, my life began to sort of crack and or fall apart, depending on, you know, which memory is coming forward first, in ways that I wasn't expecting. And of being a person who was living my life out of alignment in the way that, you know, it appeared like I had it together. But the truth is that I was just checking boxes. So when I approach human design, I'm doing it from a holistic point of view. So I want to look at the chart, and I know how to translate the chart. That's the only thing that differentiates me from you at this point, is that when I look there, I know what I'm looking at. But, you know, you can learn how to read the chart. But in a session, what I do is I look at the chart. So I look at your energetic imprint, but I'm also looking at it through a lens of the person that's in front of me and your whole life. And how are we going to make this a practical tool that's going to matter to you? Because it's an experiment. Like, don't take my word for anything I tell you in a session.
Yeah.
Because it has to make sense to you. So you have to try out the things that you find out and see if they're true for you.
We sent you our birth date, the location of birth. Take it away.
And your time. And so I'll just start by saying, usually I will spend an hour and a half to 2 hours on each person's chart. So what I did for the two of you is I have your charts in front of me. I sent you your little snapshot of your body graphs ahead of time. And what I also have is I have your children's charts here as well.
That is so special.
Yeah. And what was exciting when I pulled all four of your charts, that is something that I don't see often, is that in your family unit, we're all different human design types.
Whoa.
You are all different. So like you're your own little microcosm. You're your own little workforce within your family unit.
I'm dying laughing because based on the 4 charts you sent me, I'm like lit up like a Christmas tree. And then there's no color.
And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's true. But it's true. He does not have any definition because
we always joke that he's my yin to my Chang. But this really proves it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So each one of you in your family is a different type. So when we're talking about human design types, we're talking about your auric field. We're talking about how your energy has come to dance with life, to interact, to give and receive. So when we're looking at your two charts together, and you can see how you have a lot more what we call definition, the colored in pieces, the Christmas tree all lit up, compared to Leif, you are each giving and receiving energy in this dance, and you're doing it with your children too. So the dynamics in a family are interesting to start. And then when we can see you through this type of lens, it becomes really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in human design, there's 5 different energy types. And in your house, there's 4 out of the 5.
Wow. Yeah. That's why we're always crashing heads.
That and probably many other things. But yeah. So I want to tell you each a little bit about your charts specifically. And then I'm likely to kind of just dance all over the place with your charts, bringing up different things. One thing that I will start with, which is interesting for the two of you, is that I'm sitting here with 2 people who have the gate of doubt and 1-3 profiles. So when I see this come up, it's actually it's a great chance for me to bring this knowledge forward to you, and for me to know that you are open to receiving it. However, the gate of doubt is a gate that both of you carry in your energy field. And for you, Julie, it's comes right away. And the gate of doubt is like something new may be presented to you, and you're going to let it bounce around a bit and go, okay, thank you for the information, but I'm also going to go through it to know if I believe it's true. So there's a little bit of you two are not going to take everything at face value that comes at you. You're really going to take a moment. And the gate of doubt is more about just pausing for a second and thinking, is this going to be beneficial for me? Is this not? It's not always conscious either. For 2 of you in your charts, it is a conscious thing where you're like, okay, let me just be with that. I'm not sure I'm fully in yet. And that's okay.
Dawn, we're haters. Just say it. We're haters. I'm just kidding.
You're
Okay.
not.
I'm very curious. Okay, so what are the 5 types?
Generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, reflectors, and projectors.
Yeah.
You're a manifester.
I'll take it. It sounds awesome.
Of course, it's awesome. Leif is a reflector, as you knew, which is incredibly rare. It's 1% of the population. So we're going to talk about what that means and how that's been for you, because every single reflector is going to experience being a reflector completely different. Completely different. Now, Lulu's chart, she's your little projector. Oh, I'm sorry. Driggs is a generator. I'm sorry. You don't have a manifesting generator. That's who you don't have in your house, is a manifesting generator. You do have a pure generator.
Okay.
So you have a whole system, like you have a complete workforce right in your household. Like each one of you is designed to bring your energy forward completely different, which is wonderful because you get to experience life with all the different types. But it's also, as parents, going to go, okay, so this child that I have in front of me is clearly a unique little human being, and I'm here to foster whomever I have in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I love about human design. I studied child psychology, and I went into education when I was younger, and doing it from this point of view, wow, how different it would have been knowing a classroom full of children and knowing who I had in front of me. And then I'm a mom too. So knowing that, you know, I'm raising a projector child as a generator, that can be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for you guys, you're raising a projector and a generator. So you already know both of your children are quite different.
Very different. I'm always like, same factory, same owners. Like, what happened?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Same tools, different energetic imprint on the day they were born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Different planetary influences, the attributes of the Chinese I Ching, and then we're learning that is directly correlated to the 64 codons in our DNA. And we could just go on and on. So starting with the reflector, because reflectors don't get enough attention. Because we don't know enough direct experience from reflectors because there's so few of you. There's so few of you. You're 1% of the human population. And you are here to be a barometer of the health of the planet, of the rest of us. You're really here to show us how things are going, because you literally, reflect back to us the health of the world, life. For you, incredibly important to be in the right environment. To know that you are surrounding yourself with the right people. Because of all of that white that you see in your chart, all of those little shapes that are all white in your chart compared to anybody else. That's how when we open your chart, we know immediately you're a reflector. It shows us that you are here to receive energy. So you are receiving energy all of the time. You're receiving energy from the people around you, from life, from plants, from animals. You're pretty sensitive when it comes to the type of environment you should be in and the people that you surround yourself with. You're a gift to your family who gets to see how things are through you. Now, the thing about reflectors too is that each one of you is going to have a completely different experience with life because it's in direct correlation to the actual physical life that you're in. Reflectors are known as having no inner authority. You have environmental authority. So everything that is affecting you is coming from everything around you. Now, for a reflector, it is super important for you to understand the rest of the depth of your chart if you want to know certain attributes about you, like going into your profile and your gates and your channels. These are other attributes of your personality that are you. Because for a reflector, it can be difficult, the journey of figuring out, who am I? Where am I in this? Because sometimes you can get really swept into those around you, especially when we bring in the charts of your family and we look at the different emotional and the different intensities that you're living with. And so for you to be present in a world of people that are bringing energy to you all of the time, for you to find out who life is in the grand scheme of things, it's important to have alone time, to have that time to settle into there I am. Like, here I am. Looking at your chart, I know you're incredibly resourceful and that you are really here, when I look at your incarnation cross, to provoke higher states of emotional and spiritual awareness in other people. So you are this barometer, I would say, probably for Julie a lot in her life, not knowing you that well, that you're really here to be that support for her, to be that resource manager for her, to kind of fly a little bit more than what you might do naturally in your life, or be a bit more fiery, let's say, that spark that Julie is over here, because you create a little bit of safety for her. Between the two of you.
Spot on. Man, we spent a lot of money in couples therapy to get that. She nailed it in 15 minutes. Like, she talked about how, like, when we have arguments, like, I'm always the one activated. So he never gets a moment to, like, not be even keeled, because you always have to calm the person who's activated. Well, sorry, 99.99% of the time, like, I'm that person. So anyway, yeah, spot on.
Well, you're an emotional manifestor. So the emotions are coming. The emotions are coming from you, and it's healthy for you to be that. The thing is that Leif is going to amplify that at times. So he's feeling the intensity of it. And what might happen, and this is going to happen with Driggs as well, they're feeling that emotional intensity that's coming from the rest of us. Lulu has an open emotional center too. So this is getting really interesting. You really are the emotional influencer in the house. And they amplify it. You're carrying the emotions. So you're coming with the emotional intensity.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to react in different ways based on other things. Remember, the chart's a holistic piece. Everything's connected.
Right.
Lulu is so open there, and so is Leif, but being a projector versus a reflector, I'm going to say that what she's going to do is she's going to amplify it and spin off of it. So her emotions are going to be intense when she has them. Because she is like a sponge in her space, where Leif is able to actually, it's a bit more like Teflon. Like, you just have to give it time and it'll roll off of you. Where you're going to have to work a little bit more with Lulu, being aware of her cleansing her own energy, because she's not going to have as much awareness or built-in tool to release the energy around her. So you might even find that she finds it people-y at times, and she just has to retreat. Like, she's all in and then she's all out.
Totally.
Yeah. Because she should know this about herself, that she needs to take that time away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Spot on.
Little expressions, I will say, from each chart. And so for Leif, I had the resourceful manager. Resourceful empowering manager, actually, is what I got from the entirety of your chart. Julie, yours is life is a great adventure.
Whoa. That is so awesome. I totally subscribe to that.
Life is a great adventure. Driggs is a creative problem solver.
Oh, yeah.
And Lulu is an experimental influencer.
Whoa.
So back to you as the manifestor, because you thought you were a manifesting generator.
Yeah.
But you're a manifestor, a pure manifestor. So what this means is that the manifesting generator piece, you would have had that sacral center colored in, that life force energy of that generator running through you. But as a manifestor, this is open for you. Manifestors are here to make an impact. You are here to initiate. You are the fire starter. So you're here to initiate things and to have an impact, whether you know you're having it or not. All manifestors have an impact. It's what you're here to do. Now, having a little bit of history on your life, so exciting to see your chart and to find out you were a manifestor and the line of work that you do.
Yeah.
You are here to inform, to communicate. This is your number one center, your throat.
What?
Communication.
That is wild.
Yes, yes. So you are here to inform and communicate. And through that, you are initiating little sparks of fire wherever you go.
What is the percentage of manifestors?
9%. So it's not a large percentage either. Generators and manifesting generators make up an average, give or take, 35% each.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 21% of projectors. Mm-hmm. And manifestors are 9 to 11%. They say, I don't know where they get the percentages from, but based on the planets, somewhere they have it figured out. I don't have it figured out. But yes, there's not a lot of manifestors percentage-wise either. So you are here to lead the rest of us in initiating things, getting things going. So each manifestor is going to do that differently, but the number one important thing for a manifestor to know is that the key to you being satisfied in life is through your communication. And manifestors' auras are closed here. So, but you hold the key, and a lot of manifestors don't understand that they hold the key in feeling this smooth interaction with life. Because a lot of times manifestors, they don't want to tell people what they're up to. They feel like it might be asking permission. And the last thing a manifestor wants is to ask anyone's permission or opinion. You know what you want, you know what you want to do, and that's it.
You don't really need to chime in. Your looks are saying everything.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe even throughout your life, you know, rules that were set by parents and things, manifestors would usually think, okay, rules are frivolous. You're just making that up. I don't need that.
Yeah. Total rule breaker.
Yeah. That's what a manifestor's core theme is freedom. You want to be free to spread your wings, to soar and not be limited.
You just nailed it. I honestly was like thinking to myself, what is my goal in life? Because we're working on a project where it's like we're asking really insightful questions about self. And I'm like, is it more time? Is it more money? Like at the end of the day, all I want in life is freedom. Freedom to choose what I do with my time, with whom and when and where.
Yes, it is. That core is freedom. And for Leif, it's peace.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. So Leif has been wanting to try ayahuasca forever.
Okay.
He's like, I feel, you know, like blocked, and I feel like this will help me go inward, which totally makes sense with what you're saying is like all of his control centers are like exterior to him.
Yeah.
So this makes sense because for me, I keep saying, I'm kind of down for ayahuasca, but honestly, if anything, I need to be reeled in. I don't like opening up anymore. I need to close up, you know? And so that makes sense.
And I would actually say that story of you don't need to be more, like release that. Give yourself permission to release that because the beauty of you, Julie, is in your more.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love that. Oh my God, that almost makes me want to cry.
Like, don't reel it in.
Yeah. Because I was
to make an impact.
Yeah.
And you can't make an impact if you do this.
Yeah. Yeah. It almost feels like I'm trying to hug a cactus when I'm told in, you know, whether verbally or just by message, like the look to like reel it in. I'm like I can't be my authentic self, you know?
You can't spread those wings if you're real. And that freedom is like that eagle, right? Like you just want to be up there and initiating and like
an internet meme that like I so understood. It was like, whenever people criticize you for being so extra, right? Why don't you question them and ask why you should be basic? You know, that to me like struck such a chord because I'm like, yeah, I'm extra all the effing time. And that's okay. Because what's the alternative? It's to be basic, and I am not basic.
No, and you have not come to not play with life and experiment with it and be in the fullness of it. You both have a 1-3 profile. And so does Lulu. So our profile in our human design chart is our, I would say it's like our archetype of our personality, how our human personality shows up in life. And so there are 3 of you in your house are 1-3s. You're investigator martyrs. What that means is that you have come to experience life directly, which means you got to go through it to know it. So, you know, somebody just telling you something, like me telling you this stuff today, unless it directly applies in your life or you've been through it, it doesn't sit in the knowing, in the wisdom. It sits as information, sure, and you can choose to believe it or not, but that's just staying in this realm. But you've decided to go directly through life experiences because that one, you're here to teach others, this is the martyr piece, what you learned from direct experience.
Oh, God. So, yeah. My sisters are always like, God, why do you overshare so much? Like there's some brain tumor surgery pictures that like no one really needs to see, Julie. But I'm like, I just feel like my story might be someone else's survival guide. I don't know.
It's literally what you've signed up to do. It's how your personality has come to do life, is to go through it and then help others by hearing your story. Tell your stories, both of you. You're 1-3s. And you have to go through it. So knowing my daughter is also a 1-3 and your daughter's a 1-3, knowing that they're also likely going to be a little bit like, okay, thanks, Mom, but I'm going to try it out myself and see if you're right or not. And then come back and be like, okay, yeah, so this is what I learned from either choosing to go through it or not, right? Like knowing that the line 3 wants to go into life, like to bump up against life directly, to experience that ayahuasca journey, right? Like I want to try it. I don't want to, you know, I got to go through it to know if it's even for me.
Yeah. Would it be fair to say like we're agnostic or skeptical?
That's that what I started with that gate of doubt.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's more like a little bit of let's hold back, like the first cell phone. Like, is it safe for us to use this? Is this something we want in our lives? Like, it's not that you're rejecting things. It's not, it's that you've signed up to have to experience it before you know it to be true. And then you decide whether you're going to take it on or not.
Yeah. I guess you could almost like also reframe it. It's like extreme curiosity.
Exactly. And as a 1-3, the 1 is the investigator. So you have that curiosity too. So the 2 of you love to gather information on things.
Totally.
You're investigators. Like Google was made for line 1s. I'm a line 1 as well, but I don't have the 3. Like we just want to know things, and whether it ever matters, like to us, we're just like fun fact. We just love to know fun facts that have nothing to do with anything sometimes.
Yeah. No,
just fun of it.
We both end up like deep in rabbit holes of like stupid stuff. Like we're like, oh, we need a new ice cream maker lid. And then we're like deep in it.
How many numbers are there, like combinations?
Yeah. There's 6 numbers, and then they can be combined in multiple ways. Yeah. So there's 12 total profiles that you could potentially be.
Okay.
So there's the line 1 is the investigator. Line 2 is the hermit or the natural. And here's the thing. The founder of human design, his language was very direct and, you know, sometimes not so cushy, not so poetic. So the hermit is the name, but other people are using a natural as, but when you get deep in, you know why he went with hermit. but it's, some people are like, oh my God, I want to be a hermit. But
Yeah.
line 3 is the martyr. Line 4 is the opportunist. Line 5 is the heretic. And line 6 is the role model.